Well, good morning. It's great to be at Greenwood Elementary School, and I want to thank Principal Eric Hinker for hosting us this morning. We appreciate that very much. I'm also very pleased to have Director Wise with us this morning, who is the Director of the Department of Education. Governor Branstad, of course, is not here this morning because he is in Washington, D.C., preparing for his Tuesday hearing. Today, we have the great opportunity to really highlight the importance of computer science education for Iowa students. Computer science is a new basic skill for success in a technology-driven 21st century economy. Computer science jobs in Iowa and really across this country are among the fastest growing and best paying jobs available, but like everything else, we're having a hard time filling those amazing opportunities and jobs. With the computer science bill that the governor signed on Friday, I'm proud to say that Iowa is creating more pathways for kids, kindergarten through 12, to have the opportunity to learn about computer science. The bill encourages every school in Iowa to provide this opportunity, and we know that by building a strong foundation in elementary and middle school, it helps students decide in high school and beyond whether they want to pursue a career in computer science. By July of 2019, our goal is to have every elementary school offer some type of instruction in the basics of computer science, to have every middle school offer an exploratory computer science class, and to have every high school offer at least one high-quality computer science course. To help achieve the goal, the bill also creates a computer science professional development incentive fund to help train teachers so that they have the tools to feel confident in offering our young people these opportunities. I'm proud to say that the bill passed with a vote of 49-0 in the Senate, 95-3 in the House, and I think that certainly demonstrates the legislators' understanding that high-quality computer science instruction matters, and it's important for our students to remain competitive in a global economy. I want to thank the floor managers of the bill, Senator Shelgren and Representative Rogers, and of course I want to thank the Education and Health Chairs, Senator Kreinbrink and Representative Dolachek. And I also want to thank Brian Wallard and the Technology Association, the STEM Council Advisory Group that's been working on this, Microsoft, Code.org, SAI and IASB, as well as many others. So it's kind of fun when you have a wide range of organizations and individuals that understand the importance of this and that have come together to support it. And Iowa schools, including Greenwood, are off to a good start. So that's why we're here. You've really been a leader in this, and we appreciate that very much. A recent survey showed that 69% of middle and high school schools and 38% of elementary schools offer computer science instruction. So while we're off to a good start, there's a lot of opportunity for us to expand that. Building a strong foundation in computer science helps prepare students for not only personal but professional success. And it certainly goes a long way in strengthening Iowa's workforce pipeline. And that's a focus of our Future Ready Iowa initiative. So I'm excited to be highlighting the bill that the governor signed on Friday, and with that, it's my pleasure to bring to the podium Director Wise, who's going to give you a little bit more detail. Director?
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Reynolds. I'm thrilled to be here at Greenwood Elementary School. Not only does Greenwood offer students opportunities to learn the fundamentals of computer science through its coding club, it's also where my own two children attend school, and I'm excited that they're here today. As a parent, I see my kids' enthusiasm about what they're learning in school increase when they talk about their coding projects. And as director of the Iowa Department of Education, I know how important it is that all students have access to high-quality educational experiences. And in today's world, computer science instruction is becoming increasingly important. The legislation the Lieutenant Governor referenced creates a policy framework that will encourage all schools to provide their students at all grade levels the opportunity to build a strong foundation in computer science. The Iowa Department of Education is looking forward to implementing this legislation. Specifically, at the end of this month, the department will convene a computer science work group. The charge of this work group will be to develop recommendations that address critical issues in scaling high-quality computer science instruction across Iowa. This group will tackle important issues such as how computer science could satisfy graduation requirements for math or science, how these courses could be integrated into a career and technical education or CTE pathway, the settings in which courses could be delivered, including in traditional high schools, concurrent enrollment classes, and online, guidelines for an appropriate scope and sequence of computer science instruction at each grade level, and how the Computer Science Professional Development Fund could be used to meet the goals of this legislation. In addition, the State Board of Education will ultimately adopt standards that set expectations for what students should know and be able to do in computer science. While there is certainly much work ahead, the department is eager to play a leadership role in helping expand computer science opportunities that we see in an increasing number of schools like Greenwood offer. It's now my pleasure to turn the podium over to Greenwood's principal, Ms. Vera Kanker.
Thank you, Director Wise. Thanks for everyone coming and letting us showcase what we do here at Greenwood. They want to talk a little bit about how we got started here, and really we were part of the Governor's STEM Initiative many years ago, and we had a focus of engineering. But one of the things that was missing was that technology piece. Students are so excited about technology no matter what they do, so we really wanted to focus in on how can we take it to another level. So I talked to Mr. Ryan Burke, who is my STEM coach, and we really talked, how can we make this work for kids? And what's the reason for it? So if you take a look at the stats, 71% of new STEM jobs are computer or programming jobs, but only 8% of our graduates are in that field. So that has a real tendency to find, oh, what are we going to do? We just don't have quality people. So we wanted to get our students started at a young age, and I think we've done a pretty good job so far of starting that. Okay? We talked to some engineers from John Deere, and we said, hey, what do we need to do to help start these kids? And they said, the most important thing is not the product, not the coding software. It's really about the skills. And so they list a bunch of skills for us. What they do is it's not about it. Coding teaches critical thinking, it teaches persistence, it teaches processing skills, and creativity, which a lot of times in education anymore, when assessments a lot of our pieces, we lose it. So we wanted to really be creative with this with our students. And I gave Mr. Burke the helm, and he's taken it to another level for us. We started real basic with the Hour of Code using code.org, and then he's moved to the next step of actually teaching Scratch coding. Now, Mr. Burke, not really knowing a lot about this, has had to learn on his own. So I'm very happy to hear that there's going to be a professional development fund, because that's something he's had to do on his own, and that will help all of our teachers to be more comfortable with this process. Okay. We also just began with an after-school program. We thought we'd get maybe 10, 20, who's third, fourth, fifth grade. We had 75 kids sign up for that first set. So Mr. Burke and I are like, what are we going to do? We had to find a way to do it, and we've developed that process throughout. Now this year we've actually began in the classroom as well with some talent development groups that we've used. And a lot of the students that you'll see here later on, and one that will come up here in a bit, have been a part of that. So once a week, Mr. Burke works on some projects with them, utilizing Arduinos, which are mini controllers, Makey-Makeys, which are also controllers, but they also have code that they have to utilize as well. We also have Raspberry Pi, basically cardboard computers, that the students are utilizing to do their programming. So our biggest need, one I've heard, is the professional development. And I think that's one thing that stops teachers from really going to that next level, is just not being comfortable. So this funding, and I know hopefully that with everything that we do in the future with supplemental state aid will increase to help us do that as well. I think we're going to be well on our way to teaching kids that coding is a great process, and that their job skills in the future will be dedicated to that. So right now, I'd like to turn it over to Jack Keenan. Jack is one of our student project guys. He's going to come over and tell you a little bit about why he likes coding. So Jack, come on over, bud.
Okay, so in third grade, I got involved in Mr. Burke, was it third grade or fourth grade? Okay, so fourth grade. Mr. Burke taught us about coding in his classroom, and then we all got really interested in that. So at the end of the year, close to the end of the year, he created a coding club where kids would come and we'd learn about Scratch coding. And in fifth grade, it evolved into Arduino coding, which is a mini computer that you can hook up circuits to. And
You're doing great. You keep it up.
okay,
Tell them why you like it.
okay, I like it because it improves creativity. It improves knowledge of computer skills. I don't know.
Does it make learning fun?
Yeah.
Is it something you want to do in the future for like make a living? Make some
Yeah,
money?
I've decided like an engineering job would be something I would like because I like building the creations, not exactly doing the coding implement, but me and Ivan, we built a robotic arm over there. Tegan did some of the coding, so did I. And
Well, awesome,
Thank you,
John.
Jack.
Thank
Good
you,
job, Jack.
Jack. You know, really, I think that kind of says it all. And I'm telling you, as I travel across the state and visit school districts, I just continue to see this reinforced time after time after time. I think you can sense just the energy and the passion with Principal Hinker. He's seen it, and I'm so appreciative of your leadership because it starts at the top to really make this happen and give the educators the opportunity to really experiment and work with the kids and provide them opportunities. And so I really think it's a testament to why this is the right thing to do and the benefits that it's going to provide for our students moving forward. So it's fun to see, and I just appreciate Director Wise and your leadership in all of this also in helping us work with school districts to make this a reality. With that, we'll open it up for questions. Jack, you might get called back up, so just be ready. That's part of the drill, okay? Be ready.
Jack's last name is,
Keenan, K-E-E-N-A-N.
and he's in what grade?
He's a fifth grade.
How old?
Oh, you got 11.
What did you learn about computers
Well,
when you were in elementary school?
well, you know, we didn't. I think I was probably one of the last ones to still be doing shorthand and typing. I had pretty good typing skills, but technology has changed, and there's a lot of opportunities, and kids, you know, grow up with technology 24/7 with computers today and phones, and so we want to make sure that we're keeping them engaged and up to date and competitive. It's a global economy. We want to make sure that when our students leave high school, they're prepared for a career, for post-secondary education, and this is a big piece of it. The other thing, I mean, these are great jobs, and I'll give you an example. For the Future Ready Iowa Initiative, we went to Shazam in Johnston, and they have a partnership with DMAC. And through the partnership with a 2-year associate, for the first year they work as an intern at Shazam, and they earn $18 an hour while they're doing their internship. At the end of the 2-year, 90+% of those students are hired by Shazam with an average salary of between $86,000 and $89,000 a year. And so that's just one small example of the opportunities that exist. And so we're falling short if we're not, you know, and we have to start sooner rather than later. I think that's the key, because we can't wait until high school when they're not building that interest and that capacity to really explore and to look at careers that they didn't even think were possible.
Talk about how typing in shorthand when.
Well, let's not go back to the antiquated ages.
To compare those skills, those administrators thought those are skills you could use in the future, and then compare it to what's happening now, teaching computer coding, or skills that are preparing them for their future as well.
Really, it's the same thing. I mean, you know, that was the skills of the day, and today these are the requirements, not only for personal development, but for professional development. That's how you operate throughout the day. Everything that you touch is technology driven. And so it's, and just the engagement that the kids have when they're applying what they're learning, the critical thinking, the problem solving. Even Jack indicated that it helped him think about things that he hadn't thought about before.
Follow-up question. Could I just ask, yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. Is there an appropriation attached? Does the governor, in the state of the condition of the state, attach some money?
Yep.
is there any, I don't think there was any money in the policy bill. Was there any money in the
There is
budget
money,
bill?
it's
How
in
much is
fiscal
it?
year 19, it's 250,000. We'll go back next year and put in, we'll go, we originally had asked for 500,000, and that's our intent to move forward with that. They did half a budget year for 19, and so in the budget right now is 250,000. We will request 500 moving forward, but what's key to that, how important it is to have some public funding there. We'll do just like we did with the STEM Advisory Council. When I have a commitment from the public sector, then I can go to the private sector and ask them to help match some of that funding. And we've been very successful in doing that with the STEM Council, and so they want to be a part of this because they know how important it is to have that pipeline of talent ready to meet their needs so that they can grow and innovate. And so they are a willing partner in helping us anything involving science, technology, and engineering.
So I have a question for Director Wise. So are you going to implement this in the upcoming school year? And if you don't have any money to do it, is it going to be an unfunded mandate?
So, right, so that's an important,
It's not a
important
mandatory.
point. It's not a mandatory, mandatory requirement, it's incentivized. And our first step as a department will really be to pull together this working group in the next month to lay out how we get to this big picture vision. So I mentioned many of the areas that that working group will consider. I think the timing will be perfect, with that group laying the pathway forward, then a group convening to develop standards for high-quality computer science courses, and then the professional development fund in place the following year. So I think this is nicely sequenced to get us where we want to go with computer science.
So anything actually happened during this upcoming school year?
It's happening. I mean, and
Right.
as we're working towards really building this out, Greenwood is a great example of a school district that's making it happen. I talked about the Technology Association. Hyperstream has a strong computer science component, and we're seeing more and more school districts across the state utilizing that high-quality scale-up program. So we're building on what's already in place. 69% of middle and high school schools and 38% of elementaries offer some type of computer science instruction. But we want all of them doing that, and so we're trying to build on that foundation and continue to incentivize and encourage and provide the training and the tools that our teachers need so that they feel comfortable in providing this instruction.
Is there any sense that this maybe should have been done sooner, or are other states ahead of us in having
Well,
programs
you
like
know,
this?
it's a very competitive environment out there, and so yes, states are moving in that direction. And as I've indicated, we have been moving in that direction, and this is a continuation of building on the success. So we're in a good place, I think.
Several years ago, the legislature agreed to pass legislation on early childhood literacy with a commitment to fund that. And even just 2 years ago, when the state realized it wasn't going to have the $8 or $9 million for that, they said, push it back a year, but we're committed to this and we're going to fund it. And I hear commitment from you as well. We'll have 250 in FY19 and more money after that. How do you ensure that this will be funded as opposed to what's happened in the past with childhood
Well,
literacy?
250 is in the budget right now.
For FY19, which
so
can be
that's for
changed.
FY19.
Right.
And we will go forward. It's a priority, and we will continue to work with legislators to make sure that we have the funding there to support that.
So you're committed that no matter what, there will be funding in FY19
Well, I'm
for
going to
this?
continue to work for it and advocate for it because I feel that it's important. I'm going to continue to talk, but I think by the vote, it's an indication that they understand the importance of it. And then I'll continue to work with the private sector also, so that we, in a public-private partnership, continue to bring business and industry and educators together to make sure that our students have every possible opportunity to understand what that workforce looks like, to understand how important it is to have these skills. And they're not paying attention to this press conference. They're over there working on their projects. I mean, that's what I see when I go into classrooms. They are so engaged in what they are doing.
As a follow-up to that point, though, there are obviously schools that are doing great work. How do you ensure that it's not just schools in urban settings that have these opportunities? How do you ensure?
Well, it's not, Barbara. I go to all 99 counties every year, and I spend a lot of time in school districts. And IKM Manning is a phenomenal opportunity of a very, very small school district that have really taken advantage of the high-quality Scale-Up programs. And in addition to that, for the last 3 years, their community has come together and held a STEM gala where they've raised private dollars to help support the educators and what's happening in that school district. The first year it was $50,000, the second year it was $60,000, and this last year they raised $95,000 from a community that understands it's an economic development tool for them. It's about connecting their students to the employers in their community and showing them the opportunities that exist not only in urban areas but in rural areas across the state. And it's building those relationships, and it's really helping prepare a workforce that's ready to meet the needs of today and tomorrow. And so that's just one small example. We can list others. Not every single school district. I represented Central Southwest Iowa. There's opportunities for us to do it. Harlan is another great example. Rocket manufacturing is another great example in Northwest Iowa. So there's great things happening, and there's great momentum, and we have an obligation to help drive that momentum and look for what we need to do to support it and encourage it, and that's what we're trying to do.
What's your plan for the third grade reading initiative? Legislators said the pilot projects last summer didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't, but we're starting to see results with the
Early warning
warning system. We're starting to really identify where students are at sooner rather than later, and it's helping educators adapt their strategy to teaching the students to make sure that they're at grade a reading level or at the level that they should be. And so we're going to continue to build that out. We raised private dollars for the pilot program because we thought this would be a way to ensure that students were at least at grade level when they came back to school the following year, so they weren't falling behind. We know it's so important to make sure that students are reading at grade level by third grade, because that's when they're transitioning from learning to read to reading to learn. So we just set them up to succeed. So we're going to continue to, I think we're seeing success, and continue to look for ways that we can build on that foundation also. But that's, Ryan, you could maybe speak to that a little bit. It's been a valuable tool.
But you agree that the pilot project was not a success?
Well, it's a whole definition of a pilot program. I don't think we got the results that we were looking for.
I do so. A couple of points to add on to what the Lieutenant Governor has said. You know, with the summer pilot, we did see that it prevented summer reading loss, which is in itself really important for our most vulnerable readers. I think it's also important to remember with the early literacy initiative, it was never just about summer school or the retention component. The foundation is identifying challenges that students are having with reading early on and preventing reading problems down the line. So there's still nearly $11 million in targeted funding to early literacy that builds the early warning system, that provides money directly to school districts, and funds the Iowa Reading Research Center. So the department's work, the state's work around early literacy continues full speed ahead. And so we're excited to build on the progress that the Lieutenant Governor mentioned. We know there's a lot of work left to do, but we're excited about the work that's happened over the last 5 years.
I just wanted to go back to the computer thing. As you're aware, a lot of legislators want an emphasis on school choice. Are you doing any of these computer things with homeschool parents, with non-public schools, private schools, independent schools? Is any of that directed towards?
Well, with the STEM Advisory Council, any of the scale-ups are available to after-school programs, to non-public schools, and to homeschool families. So they have, and they utilize it. They've taken full advantage of that, so it is available and has been available.
And the Professional Development Fund would be open to accredited non-public schools as well.
Yeah.
I have the same question for you, Phil, just that I asked the Lieutenant Governor. I mean, is the idea that you're committed to there being funding in FY19, that you'll be making that a priority for the department when the FY19 funding rolls around?
Oh, certainly this will be a priority of the department, both in terms of the funding, but also in terms of all of the programmatic components. So ensuring that we have solid recommendations that come out of a diverse task force, that we really take a good, careful look at high quality standards. So all of those pieces are in place as well.
On a different topic, when can
Are we
I-
done? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, appreciate it. Thanks.
When can Iowans expect the secrets of the transition to be revealed?
Okay, that's a leading question. First of all, the governor will be, his hearing is tomorrow, so we will have the hearing tomorrow. And then the committee needs to vote him out, and after that, then it goes to, hopefully to the Senate for a floor vote. And as soon as that, we have a better understanding of what that timeline looks like, we will make sure that each and every one of you know what the transition plans look like.
Will that happen pretty much right away? As soon as the Senate vote comes down, then next day you become governor? or-
Well, we've got a couple days, I think, so I don't think it happens immediately, but fairly soon after that. And so we'll be watching, and we'll have a good idea after the hearing tomorrow, I think, what that timeline looks like. Senator Grassley had indicated, possibly 3 weeks, but it's still speculation at this point. We just don't know. I mean, we're at the mercy of the federal government, and so anything is possible. But we should know more after the hearing on Tuesday, and you will be the first to know. We will hold a press conference, and we will lay out what the transition plans look like, and we're still formulating those, and we look forward to sharing those at the appropriate time.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Anybody else?
I'll have another question, sure.
Sure.
So you're saying that it might be between 1 to 3 weeks, you're not expecting it this week?
No, because the hearing is tomorrow.
Right.
And they have an opportunity to ask follow-up questions. There's just a process. They have a calendar that they work with, just like we do in the Iowa legislature. And so after the hearing, we'll get some sense, I think, of what that timeline looks like, and we'll build off of that. But at this point, we just don't know. I mean, we have no idea.
But it looks like you're gonna become governor sometime in May. That's
Well,
accurate to say?
it looks like that, yeah, right now,
Okay.
according
You
to,
will, by Memorial Day, you'll be governor.
we'll see.
How do
It
you,
looks like that.
when I go to,
You're not sure?
There's no guarantee. We don't have a date. We have no guarantee. The hearing will be tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll have a better understanding of the timeline after that. But right now, we don't know.
when I go places, people ask me about you because they don't know as much about you as they know about Terry Branstad. How do you intend to introduce yourself to Iowans as you become?
Well, I think I've done that to a great deal. Of course, there's more that you can always do, but from day one, I've gone to all 99 counties each and every year, more than once, a lot of times. And so I spent a lot of time talking to Iowans, listening to Iowans. I talked about being in school districts and meeting with business and industry and holding town halls. And honestly, that's really important. I get so much more out of that than I think they do, because it's an opportunity for me to listen, to find out what's working, to answer any questions that they may have about policies that we're working on. It's a great way to see the phenomenal talent that we have all across the state, and that's really important when I'm looking at new initiatives or looking for individuals to fill boards and commissions, or as I'm thinking about issues and initiatives that I'll be working on, to recognize and remember individuals that would be a great asset and part of that strategy. So I'm gonna continue to do what I've been doing for the last 6.5 years, and that's travel the state, meet with Iowans, listen to them, and I truly look forward to continuing the opportunity to serve as the governor of this amazing state.
One more quick one if anybody has a question.
A couple of weeks ago, the AP reported that the Iowa Utilities Board was spending about nearly $500,000 on a 6-year building. I'm curious if, they've only spent a certain amount of money, but do you think that was, should that have been a priority given the budget cuts that we're facing as a state?
It's my understanding that had been in the works for quite some time, that was part of, the process that they had already put in place. So, I'm gonna leave that up to them to decide if that was what they needed to do. I don't know what it went into that decision and when that decision was made, except for that I was under the understanding that it had been made quite a while back.
Right, but when money was given to various departments and taken away during mid-year budget cuts, is the idea
Well,
that
You know, I will go back to the fact that this was a tough budget year. We had the REC reduced revenue 4 times. We didn't do an across-the-board cut. We did selective cuts. We held K-12, Medicaid, and property taxes harmless, and every other institution, every other department had played a role in the reduced revenue. And by making the tough decisions that we made, we still had a historic legislative session, and I'm hopeful that fiscal year 19, we will be in a better place than we were in 18 by really making the tough decisions that had to be made. I'm not going to second guess what they did.
Do you expect the governor to, can I just ask you one more question? Do you expect the governor to sign the legislation defunding Planned Parenthood? There's been a lot, I know there's been a big lobbying effort by supporters of Planned Parenthood to urge him to veto that. What do you?
Well, I'll tell you the same thing that he would say if he was standing here right now, and that we are carefully reviewing all the bills. We have 30 days, I think, until May 22nd is the deadline. May 22nd, yes, is the deadline to act on the bills that were passed in the last few days of the legislative session. And so we continue to work with our policy team and carefully review all of the legislation that passed this past session. So thank you.